Have you ever wondered if the little things you do could quietly push people away without you even realizing it? As we grow older, some habits can slip into our daily lives, habits that may unintentionally create distance in our relationships. But here's the good news. With just a bit of self-awareness, these behaviors can be transformed into opportunities for deeper connections and a happier life. Stick with us as we uncover 6 surprising habits you might not notice and learn how to make simple, meaningful changes. Let us know where you're watching from in the comments, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more insights from Wisdom Advice. Now, let's dive into the first habit: being overly critical of younger generations. 1. Over-criticism of younger generations. Have you ever caught yourself saying, "Back in my day, we didn't do things like that," or "Kids these days just don't get it"? It's a natural habit as we get older to compare the present to the past. After all, the world today feels so different from the one we grew up in. But sometimes those comments, even when they come from a good place, can unintentionally create distance between us and the younger people in our lives. Take this example. You're at a family dinner and you notice your grandchild on their phone. You say, "In my day, we actually talked to each other instead of staring at screens." While it might seem like an innocent comment, they could feel criticized or even dismissed. Now imagine instead saying, "What's so interesting on your phone? Show me what you're looking at." This small change not only avoids conflict, but invites connection. It's easy to fall into the habit of romanticizing the good old days. But the truth is, every generation grows up in a different world with unique challenges and opportunities. Younger people today are navigating things we never had to deal with, like the constant presence of technology or the pressure of social media. What might look like laziness or lack of focus to us could actually be their way of managing stress or adapting to an ever-changing environment. So how can we bridge the gap? The answer lies in curiosity and understanding. Instead of making comments that compare generations, try asking open-ended questions. For instance, instead of saying, "You're always on your phone," you could say, "What's the most interesting thing you've seen online recently?" This shifts the tone from criticism to interest, showing that you value their perspective and want to understand their world. Sharing your own stories can also be a great way to connect if you approach it the right way. Instead of saying, "We worked harder than you ever will," try saying, "When I was your age, I had a big challenge at work, and here's what I learned." What about you? Have you ever faced something similar? Framing your experiences as lessons rather than comparisons opens the door for a two-way conversation. It shows that you respect their journey and are genuinely interested in their challenges and successes. Another powerful way to connect is through shared learning. While we bring wisdom and life experience, younger generations often have fresh ideas and tech-savvy skills. For instance, you could teach them how to cook a traditional family recipe while they show you how to use a new app or gadget. These moments not only build bonds, but also remind us that we can learn from each other, no matter our age. Above all, approach these interactions with empathy and humility. It's okay to admit when you don't understand something. They'll likely appreciate your honesty. At the same time, try to see the world through their eyes. Even if you don't always agree with their choices or priorities, understanding their perspective can deepen your connection and build mutual respect. By shifting from criticism to curiosity, you'll find that these interactions become less about pointing out differences and more about building bridges. And as those bonds grow stronger, you'll likely discover that younger generations are eager to hear your stories, learn from your experiences, and share their lives with you. Remember, every generation has its own unique approach and values, but the shared goal is always to build a better life. Changing your perspective from criticism to curiosity will not only help you understand the modern world better, but also make younger people feel loved and respected. Now that we've talked about fostering better connections through understanding, Let's address another habit that can unintentionally push others away: neglecting personal hygiene. 2. Neglecting personal hygiene. Personal hygiene is one of those things that can easily slip through the cracks as we get older. Sometimes it's because physical challenges make tasks like grooming or bathing more difficult. Other times, it might feel like it's no longer a priority. After all, who's really noticing? But the truth is, small lapses in hygiene can send unintended signals to those around us. People might associate unkempt hair, noticeable body odor, or stained clothes with a lack of care, even when that's not the case. For example, imagine a neighbor invites you to a community gathering. You show up in a shirt that's a little wrinkled, with your hair not quite as neat as it could be. While no one may say anything directly, they might notice and subconsciously form opinions about how approachable or attentive you are. These judgments aren't about vanity. They're about the subtle ways we communicate respect for ourselves and others. Maintaining personal hygiene isn't just about appearances. It's a way of showing self-respect and staying connected with the world. Cleanliness has been shown to impact how people perceive competence and reliability. In social situations, being well-groomed can make others feel more at ease, while neglecting these areas might unintentionally create discomfort. So how do you address this without feeling overwhelmed? Start small. Simplified grooming routines can make a big difference without requiring much effort. For instance, setting aside a specific time each day for personal care, like brushing your teeth, combing your hair, or choosing a clean outfit, can become a habit that feels manageable. If physical challenges make tasks like bathing or nail care difficult, don't hesitate to enlist help. A trusted family member or professional caregiver can provide assistance in ways that maintain your dignity and independence. Services like mobile hairdressers or home-based spa providers are also excellent options for those who prefer privacy. Another practical tip is keeping grooming supplies easily accessible. A shower stool, no-rinse cleansing wipes, or even adaptive tools like long-handled brushes can simplify daily hygiene tasks. Little adjustments like these remove barriers and make caring for yourself feel less daunting. It's also helpful to set reminders. A simple alarm on your phone or a note on the bathroom mirror can prompt you to stick to your routine. These small cues help you stay on track without adding stress to your day. Finally, view personal hygiene as an act of self-care, not a chore. Taking care of your appearance doesn't have to be about impressing others. It's about valuing yourself. Every time you prioritize grooming, you're making a statement. I matter, and I deserve to feel confident and comfortable. Taking care of yourself sends a powerful message. I value myself and those around me. Even small steps, like brushing your hair or wearing a clean outfit, can make a huge difference in how you feel and how others connect with you. Self-care isn't just a task, it's an act of self-love. While personal hygiene helps us present our best selves to the world, another habit, oversharing, can sometimes weigh down our interactions. Let's explore how to find the right balance in sharing personal details. Third, repeating stories or anecdotes. Have you ever shared a favorite story only to realize halfway through that you've told it before, maybe even to the same person? As we get older, this can happen more often than we'd like. Memory patterns naturally change with age, and certain vivid memories, especially those tied to meaningful moments, tend to resurface again and again. While these stories are valuable pieces of our past, repeating them too often can sometimes make conversations feel stale or even frustrate the listener. Think of it this way. You're at a family gathering, and you start sharing a story about your first big promotion at work, a moment you're understandably proud of. Halfway through, you notice your grandchild giving a knowing smile and quietly mouthing the next part of your story to their sibling. It's not that they don't care, but they've heard it so many times that the excitement is gone. This small moment might make you feel embarrassed or even discouraged from sharing in the future. The key to avoiding this is striking a balance between sharing meaningful stories and keeping conversations fresh. One strategy is to ask open-ended questions that invite others to share their experiences. For instance, instead of jumping into a story about your favorite childhood vacation, you might start by asking, "What's the most memorable trip you've ever taken?" This shifts the focus to the other person and allows them to contribute, making the conversation more engaging and interactive. Another tip is to become more mindful of the stories you share and who you're sharing them with. Before launching into a familiar tale, take a moment to ask yourself if this person has heard it before. If they likely have, consider framing it differently or adding a new detail to keep it interesting. For example, instead of retelling the same story about your first car, you might say, "Have I ever told you about the time my car broke down in the middle of nowhere? Here's something I learned from that experience." This approach keeps your story fresh while still sharing an important moment. It's also helpful to introduce variety into your conversations. If you find yourself relying on the same handful of anecdotes, try recalling other meaningful events from different periods of your life. Reflecting on untold memories can breathe new life into your storytelling and spark curiosity from those around you. Finally, don't be afraid to let others guide the conversation. By actively listening and asking follow-up questions, you encourage them to open up, making your time together feel more dynamic and collaborative. For example, if someone shares an update about their recent promotion, instead of responding with your own work story, ask, "What are you most excited about in this new role?" This not only keeps the focus on them, but also deepens your connection. Your stories are treasures, but so are theirs. By inviting others to share their experiences and mixing in untold moments from your own life, you create conversations that feel fresh and engaging for everyone involved. Every shared moment strengthens your bond and reminds others of how much you value their company. Now that we've explored how to keep our conversations engaging, let's move on to another common habit: hoarding and the challenges of letting go of clutter. 4. Hoarding or cluttering spaces. Over the years, it's natural to accumulate possessions. Each item can hold a memory, a story, or a sense of security. But as time goes on, these things can start to pile up, turning cherished belongings into overwhelming clutter. While the emotional attachment to possessions is deeply personal, the physical and mental effects of clutter can impact both you and those around you. Imagine a spare room filled with old furniture, boxes of holiday decorations, and clothes that haven't been worn in decades. What may feel like a comforting collection to you can appear overwhelming or even stressful to family members who visit. Cluttered spaces can make it hard for others to feel comfortable and, over time, may even create tension. Loved ones might worry about the safety risks of tripping or navigating cramped areas, but they may hesitate to bring it up for fear of upsetting you. The emotional attachment to items often stems from sentimentality or the belief that something might be useful in the future. For example, you might keep an old set of dishes because they belong to your mother, or hold on to stacks of magazines thinking you'll read them someday. These feelings are valid, but it's important to ask whether these possessions are truly serving you or if they're holding you back. Decluttering doesn't mean letting go of everything. Instead, it's about prioritizing what truly matters. Start small. Choose one area, like a closet or a single drawer, and go through it with intention. Ask yourself, does this item bring me joy or serve a purpose in my life right now? If the answer is no, consider donating it or passing it on to someone who could use it. For sentimental items, you don't have to part with all of them. Instead, keep a few meaningful pieces and take photos of the rest as a way to preserve the memories without the physical burden. Letting go can also be reframed as an act of love. By organizing your space, you're making it easier for family members who may need to help you in the future. Imagine how much they'll appreciate walking into a home that's neat and accessible, where they can focus on spending time with you rather than sorting through piles of belongings. This act shows consideration for their feelings and strengthens your relationship. Another practical tip is to involve loved ones in the decluttering process. Invite them over to help you sort through items, sharing the stories behind your most treasured possessions. This not only makes the task more enjoyable, but also creates meaningful moments of connection. For example, if you're sorting through old photo albums, take the time to reminisce with your family about the memories captured in those pictures. If the task feels overwhelming, consider setting a timer for just 15 minutes a day. Small, consistent efforts add up and make the process less daunting. You could also enlist professional help, such as hiring an organizer who specializes in working with older adults. They can provide guidance and support while respecting your emotional connection to your belongings. Ultimately, decluttering is not about giving up. It's about making space for what truly matters: the people, memories, and moments that bring joy and peace to your life. A more organized home can reduce stress, create a safer environment, and make visits from loved ones more enjoyable. Once your space feels lighter and more open, you may notice how it improves your relationships. But there's another habit that can unintentionally create distance, interrupting conversations. Let's take a closer look. Fifth, oversharing medical or personal details. As we get older, it's natural to want to talk about health. After all, it becomes a bigger part of our daily lives. From doctor visits to new prescriptions, these topics can feel ever-present. However, constantly sharing the details of your medical experiences can sometimes make conversations feel heavy or one-sided, leaving others unsure of how to respond. Imagine this. You're catching up with an old friend over coffee, and the conversation quickly turns into a detailed account of your latest health challenges, aches, treatments, and test results. While your friend may listen politely, they might also feel overwhelmed or even helpless, unsure of how to contribute to the conversation. Over time, this dynamic can lead to a sense of emotional distance, as the focus remains on challenges rather than shared joys. This doesn't mean you should avoid discussing your health entirely. Sharing personal updates is an important way to stay connected and supported. The key is balance. Start by keeping medical discussions brief and focusing on how you're feeling overall, rather than every detail of your treatment plan. For instance, instead of recounting every test you've undergone, you could say, "I've been focusing on my health lately, but enough about me. What's been going on with you?" This shift opens the door for a lighter, more mutual exchange. Another strategy is to mix health updates with more positive or engaging topics. Share a funny story about something that happened during your week, or ask about the other person's hobbies and interests. If you're passionate about something, whether it's gardening, a favorite TV show, or a new recipe, let those topics take center stage. These conversations add variety and create a more enjoyable dynamic for both you and the other person. It's also helpful to practice active listening. By asking open-ended questions and showing genuine interest in the other person's life, you make the interaction feel balanced and engaging. For example, if they mention a recent trip, follow up with questions like, "What was your favorite part?" or "Would you recommend it?" This not only lightens the mood, but also deepens your connection. Oversharing can be a habit, but with mindfulness and small adjustments, it's possible to create conversations that are uplifting and meaningful for everyone involved. Speaking of habits that affect our social connections, let's talk about being dismissive of new technology, a behavior that can unintentionally widen the generation gap. 6. Being dismissive of new technology. Technology evolves at lightning speed, and it's easy to feel overwhelmed or uninterested in keeping up with every new gadget or app. However, outright dismissing technology with phrases like, "I don't need that stuff," or "Back in my day, we didn't rely on screens," can unintentionally create a sense of separation from younger generations who live in a digital-first world. Imagine this scenario. Your grandchild excitedly shows you a new app they've been using, and you respond with, "I'll never understand any of that." While the comment might seem harmless, it could make them feel like their interests or experiences aren't valued. Over time, this can widen the gap between generations and make it harder to relate to one another. Embracing technology doesn't mean you need to become an expert overnight. Small steps can make a big difference in fostering connection and relatability. Start by identifying 1 or 2 areas where technology could enrich your life. For example, learning to use video calls can help you stay in touch with distant loved ones, while exploring social media could give you a window into your grandchildren's world. If learning feels daunting, ask for help from someone you trust. Younger family members often enjoy showing you how things work. It gives them a chance to share their knowledge and bond with you. You might say, "Can you teach me how to use this app? I'd love to keep up with what you're doing." This approach not only makes learning easier, but also strengthens your relationship. Another strategy is to approach technology with curiosity rather than resistance. Instead of saying, "I don't need that," try asking, "How does this work?" Or, "What do you like about it?" This shifts the tone from dismissal to interest, encouraging mutual understanding. It's also worth recognizing the practical benefits of technology. From managing health with reminders or tracking apps to discovering new hobbies through online tutorials, technology can add value to your daily life in ways that go beyond entertainment. By embracing even a small part of today's digital world, you send a powerful message to younger generations. You're open to learning and growing, no matter your age. This willingness fosters respect and connection, proving that technology isn't just for the young. It's for anyone willing to give it a try. As we explore how technology can bridge gaps, let's wrap up by discussing how all these small changes contribute to aging with grace and deeper connection. Aging isn't just about growing older, it's about growing wiser and nurturing the relationships that matter most. By taking a closer look at these 6 habits, you're already on the path to creating stronger connections and a more fulfilling life. Change doesn't have to be overwhelming. Even small adjustments can lead to meaningful improvements in how you feel and how others perceive you. Remember, it's never too late to embrace self-awareness and make positive changes. Share your thoughts in the comments. What resonated most with you? And don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us for more wisdom to light up your golden years.